Namaste everyone. Myself Dr. Neha Kathuria Bhatnagar. I am a homeopath as well as a yoga consultant. I am the part of two system of medicines, that is the two Ayush system of medicines, yoga and naturopathy. It is my privilege to be part of both of them. As a homeopath, I love my profession and I'm passionate about it, as well as in yoga I love it because it changes the mental perspective and it has changed my thought process of seeing the life in a very positive sense. I welcome you all today. Our topic is basically about the introduction to the yoga asanas, which are important in a relaxative asanas as well as the meditative asanas. So talking about the yoga asanas, actually what is yoga asanas? Yog and asan combine to form a yoga asanas. Yoga, the meaning of yoga is the Sanskrit word. It has been originated from the Sanskrit word yuj, that means the union of your consciousness with the supreme consciousness, your Atman with the Jivatman. The union, that is the meaning of a yoga. And what about the asanas? Asanas are basically in the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, it is mentioned as the definition of asanas is in second chapter, that is the Sthiram Sukham Asanam. What that means is the asan which is sthir, which is sukhmay, that is the asanas. Means you need to be very comfortable, very pain free in that asanas. In general tendencies, we see that what the asana is. Generally, the place where you sit, is in asan. So, according to the yoga asanas and according to the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, the position which is sthir, that is steady, which is sukhmay, that is comfortable and doesn't give you pain, that is asanas. And when the asanas become effortless and you can stay for that for a longer period of time, or it is by Swami Shivananda says, if you stay in asanas for 3 hours for the meditation, that is the real essence of asanas. Why actually we do asanas? In general terminology, we see that people are focusing on asana on the physical benefit. Actually, the real benefit of asana is it is the part of a journey to where you have to reach the aim of a yoga, that is the liberation. And why we do yoga? Yoga is not only on the physical benefit or a psychological benefit or any kind of other benefit related to the mind, body and soul, but it is a journey. Where to reach to the Kevalya, to the Nirvana. So yoga is a journey. It is a starting, it is a journey, it is the end. What is the aim of a yoga? Is to reach to the moksha. How we reach to the moksha? By doing different steps. How these steps are important? First of all, steps we understand that you have to follow, according to the Patanjali, you have to follow the yama, you have to follow the niyama. Your treating yourself as your restraints, and then the social restraints, and the niyama is the cleanness of your body, and the yama is the how you deal with the different society people. They are the different step which has been given in Ashtanga Yoga, and that is the Ashtanga Yoga, which is the Raj Yoga concept of Patanjali Yoga Sutras. They are the 8 steps, and the yasanas comes on the 3rd step. As they are the different steps of yogasana in a Patanjali Yoga Sutras, they are yam, they are niyam, they are asanas, there are pranayama, there are pratyahara, dharana, dhyan and samadhi. In the yama, the first part talk about the ahimsa, satya, aste, brahmacharya and apigraha. And in the niyama, there is a santosh, soch, tap, swadhyay and ishwar paridhana. So these are the steps. After following these restraints, after following these things, we come to the asana. In the yoga, there is a journey of Ashtanga Yoga in which we have to follow different steps. First the yama and second is the niyama. And now we will going to talk about basically on the asanas, the 3rd step, where we have to talk about asanas is a sthiram sukham asanam. And what other shlokas are given in the asanas is basically the second shloka. The second shloka says about the pratanastheshalya ananta samapatti jnana. It means you need to do the effortless work. You need to do it effortless. When your asanas become effortless, your asanas without any pain, without any discomfort, and you can sit for a longer period of time. And what the result of the asanas comes, when there is no opposite things will be there, means when there is no disturbance in the temperature, there is no difficulties in the thirst and the food with this. You see the so many, I just want to give you an example about that. You have seen so many people in the Himalayas wearing nothing and just a dhoti and a small clothes, a thin clothes, and they are in the Himalayas. Why? They are the perfect yogis who had attained the yoga asanas. Like they have achieved the yoga asanas. How it is? Like they are not being affected by the temperatures, both the temperatures, like the cold, not as well as the hot. They are in a sum state, in a equivalent state, and these are not affected because they have achieved the asanas. What are the asanas being mentioned in different texts? Like asanas are very important according to the Hatha Pradipika. What is that Hatha Pradipika? They are the Hatha Yoga, that is a school of a yoga which talk about the Hatha Yoga, and that is the aim of a Hatha Yoga, is to reach to the Raj Yoga. And reaching to the Raj Yoga, why to reaching the Raj Yoga? Actually, when if your body is not comfortable to sit for a longer period of time, if your knees are hurting, if your body is hurting, your muscles are hurting, how will you stay for a longer period of time for a meditation? That is the most important thing in asanas. If you are flexible, if your muscles are stoned up, if your muscles are so much without any pain, there is no pain in the knees, there is no pain in ankle joint, then only you can sit for a longer period of time to attain like dharana, dhyana and samadhi, the steps, which is the yama, niyam, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. How you are moving from outside to inside. From basically in a yoga, you are moving from outside to inside, outward journey to inward journey. Where inward journey? From the anandamaya state, the state we need to reach. That is the aim of a yoga, to understand about it. So when you practice yoga asanas, then you can sit longer period of time, your mind will be more focused, you are more calm, you are more composed, you are not being affected by any other problems around you, like emotional problems, physical problems, situational problems, environmental causes, social causes. If you are in a samsthiti, that is the samsthiti in a Bhagavad Gita, yoga ka the yoga's definition is given as a Samaptvam Yoga Uchyate, the balance. Which is the balance? Balance of your thought process. You're not so happy in a good way, you're not so sad in a thing, you are in a balanced state. Your emotions are balanced, your hormones are balanced, your body salts are balanced. When you are in a balanced state, that is the sthiti of a yoga. So yoga is beauty, yoga is a magical experience. Yoga is a science, it is a complete science to understand. So in a yoga asanas, when you talk about the relaxation and meditative asana, which is the topic of our today, is basically understanding that how we reach to that stage, how we reach there. So reaching there, you need to do some exercise, you need to do some kind of a kriyas. So you need to move your body, you need to understand that your whole energy is moving. How the yogasanas is helping on the pranic flow. You know pranic flow? When we talk about the body, mind and spirit, or a soul, when yogasana is benefited on the soul, that is the energy. In homeopathy also it is called the vital force, and this is the energy which is been there in all over the body, which stimulates the body, which is been traveled. That is like it is in the process of working in the nadis. The concept of nadis is given in the yogasanas and the yoga kriya. How it is benefiting? How it is benefiting on the pranic flow, because when you practice yogasanas, you open the channels of all the nadis, and you supply the pranic energy where it is a problem. If you are having a problem in your shoulder region, it means according to the yoga therapy, it is that your pranic flow is not proper at that particular organ or a particular joint or particular muscle. So while practicing, you increase the pranic flow there and you heal yourself. That is the real essence of yoga. It's about the prana. Let's talk about the body. body, in the body, when you talk about the muscles, about the joints, about your, you know, the systems of the body, your skeletal system, muscular system, these systems are very important for the normal movement of the body. Our body has been designed for work. Our body is designed to do something, not only sitting and relaxing. We need to work. So when our body is there to do something, it has been designed, but some problems are there you have start facing in a therapeutic point of view, or if you're not facing, you're a healthy person, but when you open the blocks, I'm talking about the blocking, like for example, many people while sitting on a computer nowadays, as COVID timings and that, 8 to 9 hours everybody is sitting on a computer and doing a work from home. Every 90% people having a cervical spondylitis. Why? Because their posture is wrong, their head is always down. And see, our 8 kgs head is if like this, how the muscles were going to manage this for the longer time? And then all the inflammation comes around the shoulder region, neck region, and when these inflammation comes here, they are called blocks. That is the neuromuscular block. But when we do yoga kriyas like Sukshma or stimulating the small joints, or some asanas or kriyas like neck muscles or Griva Shakti Vikasak, when you do all these kind of things, then you stimulate the blocks to open up. And when the muscles get relaxed and it becomes flexible, then the prana flow will be increased there, and as the prana reaches there, you will be healed on the body. Your stamina will increase, your psychic centers open up when we talk about the mental aspect. Now the third aspect, how the yogasana is working on a mental aspect, that is your psychic center, your emotional center, your you know, the spiritual centers start working, your higher consciousness start working on this, because that's why we talk about the Kundalini Shakti. What is the Kundalini Shakti? A Kundalini is basically sitting in the chakra, the lower chakra, where the when we talk about the lower, the last chakra of yourself, that is the Moola, that is the main chakra, where the support is there. When the Kundalini is here, what is the reason? In Hatha Yoga, we talk about the her or tha, the union of her and her, the meeting of her and her. This is the meaning of a Hatha Yoga, when the Purush and Prakriti is going to unite. What is the Purusha? Purusha is sitting on a Sestadhara and the Prakriti is on the lower chakra. When the Prakriti goes up, how it will go up? Through, as the Kundalini move towards the chakras, different psychic centers, it will clear the psychic centers. And when you practice Yogasana, all the chakras get stimulated. Different asana have a different benefit on a different chakra. I'll give you one example. One example is about the chakrasana. If many people know chakrasana, wheel pose. They bend down, abdomen moves up, you make an arch in the body. Your awareness is on basically on the Manipura chakra. And when you do Sarvangasana, when you raise your head, raise your legs up, and when you raise your legs are supporting it, your awareness on the Vishuddhi chakra, the 7 chakras, the Vishuddhi, this chakra. So whenever that particular muscle, if you relate it to the modern science, as I always try to understand yoga on a modern aspect also, because chakras are really there when we talk about different plexus. When we talk about the modern physiology about the plexus, they are cervical plexus, they are solar plexus, they are the lumbar plexus. These plexus are the basically a cluster of nerves. Actually, think about it, 5,000 years back, an Ayurveda and a yoga people, our Shastra people knows about these plexus, and they talk about the chakras on that. And these chakras are present in the spinal cord, which is called as a Sushumna Nadi in yoga science. There are different nadis, but the main nadi is the Sushumna Nadi, from where the Kundalini has to move up to reach here to the Sahasrara, the lotus, and this chakra when open up, you get connected with the Brahman, when you get united with the Supreme Consciousness. So yoga is a journey from reaching on the mental aspect, physical aspect, social aspect, as well as your body, mind and spirit, working on your prana, working on your kundalini, psychic energy, and as you stimulate your energy levels, when you open up different channels, you have a different siddhis, you have a different spiritual experiences, higher consciousness experiences. This is the magic of yoga, which is we talking about. So yoga asanas working on everything. And when we talk about the yoga asanas in a Hatha Pradipika and Hat Ratnavali, Gharan Samhita, they are the 3 major basic texts of Hatha Yoga, and Hatha Yoga it is mentioned 15 asanas, and in Ghiran Samhita it is 32, and in Hat Ratnavali it is 84. In generally, when we talk, if you go in a past or a history and a development of yoga, we say that there are 84 lakhs of asanas are there. 84 lakhs asana means 84 lakhs of lives. In our shastras it is written that in our earth, in our prithvi, we have 84 lakhs lives in the form of different jivas, different creatures, different souls. It can be humans, animals, insects, reptiles, everything. In it is written that whatever the reptile are there, it is a asanas is there. But as the time passes out, many rishis had modified and make it limited to the hundreds, and now mainly the 84 asanas are being focused and practiced. But actually why it is called 84 lakhs, because this is the way they get moksha, and they get stimulated and enter into the birth and death cycle to the other soul. When they die, they go into the other under. This is the birth and death cycle which is going on, and as a human being we are blessed to have been born as a human being. This is the life which has been, we got it by the different karmas, and always says that the humans have the best karmas, that's why they are born as a humans, and so we have a higher intellect. If you compare with the mammals, mammals also do normal activities like defecation, eating, reproduction, touch mechanism, emotions and love. But human can understand the higher intellect. Because why we understand the higher intellect? Because we have a more we have a cortex, prefrontal cortex. These cortex which is here is bigger in humans, and so that we can have a more spiritual experiences, more higher conscious experiences, if you do the real essence of yoga asanas. Here today, as we talk about we're discussing about the yoga asanas, the more focus is on the relaxation and meditative asana. Why are we talking about the relaxation asanas? Relaxation asanas is very important in nowadays, as since last 2 years we all have suffered a lot. Might be in a financial issues, health issues, some we have lost someone in our life, and so this is the problem which been created around us, and mentally we all need some kind of de-stress, some kind of relaxation. And everybody is stressed now because of the many problems they are facing in life. Some has more, some has less. What is actually stress is? Stress is a mechanism. It is important. You know that in the scientific terminology we fight for the mechanism like parasympathetic and sympathetic. Sympathetic is when stimulated, like for example, how the stress. If a lizard is coming in front of me, I got stress, my adrenaline rush is there, and I have to go and run. That's why we got alert from the danger which is coming. So stress mechanism is very important to save our life, to save our life. But if it is continuously there, like if a person is socially being tortured, or is being overexerted with the work, or not able to sleep properly, have a very limited sleep, then the body start exhausting. In the psychology there is a GAS module, which is the body is basically generalized adaptation syndrome, generalized way how your body is there. We face the stress, and after that we are fighting with the stress. After that we become exhausted, and when this exhaustion is there, our body start giving symptoms. Okay, it can be like sleep deprived, memory loss, this headache, migraine, diabetes, IBS is a irritable bowel syndrome, which is the major cause of, like in that people start having constipation and loose motions alternate, and the digestive issues start happening, sleep issues start happening, headaches start, and you got irritability, agitated behavior. These are the symptoms when you are exhausted and you need real relaxation. So in this we are talking about the relaxation asanas. In this I am going to talk about the 3 asanas which everybody can do easily, very easily, and we'll talk about how to do it, what are their benefits, and how they will help you to de-stress yourself, or take out all the toxins outside, and you become a very cool person, very relaxed person. Your mind is calm, your mind is composed, because yoga teaches you to be satisfied, had a gratitude, to be satisfied. How to be satisfied? Because if there's a difference. Why the stress happens? However, anytime you all can think of it, why we have stress? Because first of all, yes, there are so many issues around it which can be stressful, like partner loss, someone lost, job loss, unemployment hai, or whatever. There's a different things are there, but actual reason is demand and supply. We want so many things, but the money and the demand is less. When we become unsatisfied, then the stress happen, then the dissatisfaction happen. That leads to the imbalance of the thought process. You will become irritated, you will become agitated, and you don't want to give your best. You will become sad or low mood, and that can lead to the different mental health problems. And when this is called mental hygiene also, okay, you should have a good mental hygiene to have a good mental health. Okay, so what is that mental health is? Mental health is when you are being more relaxed, more focused, more alert, and a good personality, and the aura of that personality is very good. And the yoga practice helps you in changing your mental aspect, changing your life, changing the aspect to see the life. So this is the beauty of yoga, which I always say about it. So how to understand about the relaxation techniques? In some time I'll tell about different asana like Shavasana, Matsya Krida Asana, Makarasana. These are the 3 relaxation techniques we'll talk about. And after that, we'll talk about the meditative techniques. Why the meditative techniques? Like sitting in a Sukhasana, doing a Padmasana, Ardha Padmasana, or Siddhasana. These introduction, I'll talk about how to do it and when to do it, and it is very, depending upon your body, you can do it, and you can attain the benefits of each and every one by doing at your home. Whenever you are stressed up, whenever in between the asanas practice, in between the any exhausting practice, you can take a relaxation and you do it, and you will have a great benefit on the spiritual as well as mental level as well as physical level. Let's start it.